Hello, I'm Jason Paul Channels, Spiritual Life Specialist for Wesley Life, and have a special opportunity for us today to read together a story that'll invite us into reflection about what it means to be partnership and in community with one another, particularly in this time. My special guest reader decided that the words in this book were maybe a little too hard to pronounce consistently, so I'm going to read for us today 4 Feet, 2 Sandals, which is written by Kren Lynn Williams and Khadra, Mohammen. Once again, 4 Feet, 2 Sandals. I invite you to join me in this reading and reflection upon what it means to share life together. Lena raced barefoot to the camp entrance where relief workers threw used clothing off the back of a truck. Everyone pushed and fought for the best clothes. Lena squatted and reached, grabbing what she could. The crowd began to leave. In the dust at Lena's feet lay a brand new sandal. It was yellow with a blue flower in the middle, and when she slipped it on her foot, it fit perfectly. Lena was 10, but she had not worn shoes for 2 years. She looked around for the matching sandal. A girl stood nearby. She was thinner and darker than Lena, and she wore a blue and yellow sandal. Assalamu alaikum, Lena greeted her. Peace be with you. The girl only stared. She was dressed in a shalwar kameez. Her feet were cracked and swollen as Lena's had been when she first arrived in camp. Suddenly the girl turned, taking the matching sandal with her. In the morning, Lena went to do the washing, wearing one beautiful sandal. She picked her way to the stream, careful to keep her sandal out of the filth. Her old shoes had been ruined on the many miles walking from Afghanistan to Peshawar, the refugee camp in Pakistan. She had carried her brother, Najib, no bigger than a water jug then, but just as heavy. When she looked up from her scrubbing, the girl from yesterday was standing over her. She wore one sandal that she bent over and removed. Grandma says it is stupid to wear only one. She placed the sandal at Lena's feet. Then she turned and walked away. Wait! Lena grabbed both sandals and followed her. I am Lena. The girl turned slowly. I am Faraza. Lena held the sandals out. We can share. What good is one sandal for 2 feet? Faraza frowned. You wear them both today, and I will wear them tomorrow, Lena smiled. 4 feet, 2 sandals. Faraza smiled too. She took the sandals and put them on. Tomorrow, they will be yours. The 2 girls greeted each other as they carried their jugs for water the next day. Lena put the sandals on, and together they waited in the long line. Everyone in the camp was waiting for a new home. Mama went to meetings about being resettled. The girls stayed in Lena's tent with Ismatu and Najib. They were careful to keep the sandals away from the 2 boys, for Ismatu wanted to pull at the flowers and Najib wanted to chew on them. My father and sister were killed in the war, Lena told her friend. Mama and I had to run with Ismatu and Najib in the night. Faraza nodded, and 2 tears ran down her cheek. I have only my grandmother now. When they did not have work to do, Lena and Faraza crept up to the windows of the school and peeked inside. The school was small, with only enough room for the boys to study. The girls practiced their names in the dirt and brushed the marks away so no one would see their mistakes. Sometimes each girl wore one sandal. Other children pointed and giggled, but Lena and Faraza did not care. In the evenings, the sky turned deep blue and the first stars began to sparkle. Lena and Faraza watched for the silver of the crescent moon that signaled the beginning of Ramadan. They shared memories and whispered their dreams for a new home. One morning, they went to the stream and washed their sandals to keep them looking new. "Lena, come quick," Faraza's grandmother called. "Your mother says your name is on the list." Faraza grabbed the sandals and the two girls ran ahead to the office. Lena stood on tiptoes and squinted at the sign. "Mama's name, it's here. We're going to America." She looked at her friend. "My name is not there," Faraza said quietly. She looked at her feet as she spoke. Then she bent down and took the sandals off. She handed them to Lena. "You cannot go barefoot to America." Faraza gave Lena a hug. When it was time to leave, the relief worker gave Mama a large square white bag with numbers on it. "All of your important papers are in this bag," he said. Faraza and her grandmother came to say goodbye. Lena pointed at her feet. "Look, Mama saved her sewing money. She has bought us shoes for America." "Real shoes," Faraza admired the new black leather. "Here," Lena said, "it's your day to wear these." The tears in her eyes were not for her sandals. "Assalamu alaikum," Faraza said as she took the faded yellow and blue sandals. "Peace be with you." Lena followed the others to the bus. "Wait," Faraza called as she ran to her friend. "You must keep one." She handed Lena one sandal. "What good is one sandal?" "It's good to remember." Faraza held up the other sandal. 4 feet, 2 sandals. Lena felt the tears make a trail down her cheek. She slipped the sandal into her bag and climbed on the bus. Faraza ran alongside as the bus began to move. Lena leaned out the window. "We will share again in America," she called. The end. As we read this story with our daughter, 4 feet and 2 sandals, we began to read it to her a couple of years ago, and she began to see the connections. When the news would be on, or what she might learn about in school or hear about at church, when we would talk about refugees, when we would talk about people fleeing their homes, when we would talk about places in the world where war and famine and violence of other sorts drive people away from where they have lived, maybe their whole lives, lived for generations and generations. And each time that we do so, she'll make a comment or ask a question and reference this idea of sharing, and wondering if people are sharing other things, sharing their sandals or sharing their food. It's a question that we are facing right now, isn't it? A challenge to our American way of thinking that we can just do these things on our own, that we don't need anyone's help or any partnership, as we are relying now heavily on the actions of other people, relying on other people to decide to stay home, relying on other people to be attentive and aware to the disease that they might be carrying that they could give to other people, realizing shortages and overbuying at the grocery store is leading some people to not having enough, not having the basics that they need, while others are collecting dozens and dozens of rolls of toilet paper and pallets worth of water and other food staples. In our communities, we have been a little bit sheltered from some of these issues and some of these worries. Our food supplies and our bistros and our restaurants and our food service personnel have been able to do their work thanks to careful planning and efforting, so that we might each have the food that we need each day, the meals that we need to be sustained nutritionally and to give us some sense of normalcy. But we have not been able to share many of the ways that we would like to share. We've not been able to go and sit in another person's room and bring comfort and solace. We've not been able to gather with other people that might need support and cheering up or diversion and activity. We've not been able to alternate days of wearing the sandal and not wearing the sandal, as the girls in our story have done. But there are other ways that we can be partners together in this. We have the technology, as simple as a telephone to as complicated as video chat, that allow us to reach out to one another. We can continue to send notes, to make telephone calls, to create pieces of art or other small tokens of thoughtfulness and reflection that we can share with other people. We can say thank you. We can smile. We can provide gifts of music and encouragement that might be shared with others in our community. We have prayer. The list is extensive, not limitless probably, but much larger than we give credit. We might think with only one sandal we can't do enough. What good is one sandal in 2 feet? But through partnership, through giving, through compassion, we can find ways that 2 sandals and 4 feet might work and build love and hope and promise. Blessings upon you on this day. I hope that this day finds you well and that the opportunities abound for you to celebrate God's grace and God's presence in your life, even in these challenging times. Amen.